But now every one of my shows goes directly to YouTube and I'm streaming live. It's called multicasting, I believe. I'm streaming live on two platforms. Good morning, Sarah Marie. Good morning, Misty and Laura Poole. I know it's not always morning where you guys are. It's still 10 o'clock here. And I guess it's Monday. The holiday weeks always throw us off a little bit, right? Like that midday or midweek holiday kind of kind of, you know, made me forget what day of the week it was. And I guess when the kids are home from school too, same thing. Like weekends aren't quite the same because we're still full-time parenting on the weekends, just the same as during the week. None of my kids are in camp yet. We've been trying to save our money. And so today I'm going to hopefully take them out and about a little bit. We've been kind of stir crazy. How's everybody's summer going? Good morning, Mustang Patty, and ooh, escaping misery. I do hope that you are escaping misery. I love a good screen name though. Hi, Bugs and Bubba. Welcome in, everybody. There's so much to be said for retail therapy. We often joke about it, and just getting out of the house and going shopping. And some people call it retail therapy, but for us thrifters, I really did use thrifting as therapy. It gave me a sense of purpose. I was spending more than I should, but not as much as I would have been if I were, regular shopping or luxury shopping. So I think that these social media platforms, are therapeutic sometimes, depending on if you find, like-minded individuals. So yeah, many of us do. So I love Whatnot for both being able to shop and feel like I'm supporting small businesses in that most of my purchases are made um, in shows that are mom supported or mom run, and at the same time, getting a good deal for it without having to search or leave the house. Hi, sweet red panda. Hi, Tori Lynn. So this is a seller support chat. I've been doing these on Monday mornings for a while now. My friend Basil usually does them as well, but I think they might be on vacation. And then our friend Common Cloth does them on Monday mornings too, but they're both, one is East Coast and the other is Midwest. So they do theirs much earlier on a Monday. If you haven't been attending their Monday morning chats, it's another good way to just kind of get up, get going, get your week started, and get some positive feedback and network. Basil is mostly in women's and kids, but they've been branching out into art supplies, and they've been doing some really creative things with raids. Obviously, their fridge raids and then their meh giveaway raid trains. So I encourage you to follow them. And then Common Cloth with two Ks. She's pretty established in the women's division. And so she has lots of friends in the women's division that come in and support her in the chat. And so, with all of that experience, that's a really great place to ask questions that are more geared towards selling in women's. I've been selling in kids since January, which feels like forever sometimes, and then feels like yesterday other times. And because I had an entire storage unit filled with new with tags merchandise from my closed up beach boutique, I was able to just skyrocket through those first few numbers with way too many giveaways. I learned my lesson um, after the fact. But anyway, so I'm here to give advice on babies and kids sales and shows. But at the same time, I've been dabbling in snacks, and I'm hoping to maybe get into some craft kits too. Basil kind of inspired me. They did a palette haul. I think it was mostly Target stuff. And dented and damaged like crayon boxes and Sharpie. Like when the edges are turned and stuff, we don't care. We just want the good stuff. I thrift anything that looks like new craft supplies, and we're overflowing here. So I think I might do some rainy day craft kits in a couple weeks. So please shout out your questions if you have them. Otherwise, I always have a couple topics that I thought we could talk about, and I'll just talk for about an hour. But it's always more fun when you guys have a few things. Let's see. Oh, so this was new. I wanted to put this up. So I'm pinning things. Oh, good. You're going to start putting your plushies up. Exactly. It's fun to kind of branch out once you've got people that know. So I'll admit, Sweet Rapanda, you have me like looking at anime in a different way. I don't know. I really don't know anything. Oops. Sorry, I'm echoing over there. I really don't know anything about anime. I somewhat recognize it when I see it thrifting, and so for example, I found a whole set of, read once or barely read My Hero Academia books, and I grabbed them because they were all less than $1. And I figured, my kids may or may not like them. I always buy books when I see them, but now I'm like researching anime just so that I kind of sort of know what's out there. But there are a few categories that I'm not going to try to actually get into selling. It's just curiosity, so that I feel like I can be a part of some of those conversations. And then the snack world, obviously the Asian snacks, there are some that have anime characters on them, and so I just was curious what the names of the characters were. But I posted a topic right there. When I do my chat shows, I put items as listings, but then so that I don't get in trouble with whatnot, that's why it says not really for sale, folks. Like, I'm not actually going to start an auction. I'm just kind of pinning a thought. And yes, you can do that up in show notes, but I like to do it, and many of us do it as notes to our sellers as well. Things like bookmark my shows, or feel free to tip, or click that bell. There's all kinds of different there's not really a word for it, but they're listings. You've created a listing that's not actually for sale. They're almost like classifieds, or little bullet points. And so the one that I wanted to talk about was verified buyers. So do you guys click on verified buyers only, or do you leave it off? The default is off. When you go to schedule a show, the default is unverified buyers can be in your shows and bid on your items. I always have clicked on verified buyers thinking like, well, I want people to not bid and leave, or bid and not be able to pay, not really understanding what verified buyers meant. And and so I left it off either purposely or accidentally. I don't even really remember why I left it off. And my daughter Josie has an account. And she is under 18. And so hers was really just to kind of pop in and see her mom's shows. And then at the same time, she was having fun listening to some of the fridge raids and things. And I didn't want her in on my account. So, she made her own account. She's got a Gmail address, and she could never buy anything. She doesn't have a credit card. Well, she started buying things in my stream because she does have some Apple Cash. And um, unverified buyers can pay and whatnot using Apple Cash. And so I need to ask in the Discord. So I don't know, Izzy, if it necessarily blocks people that would be out. Those people you need to just block from your streams, or have a mod block them, because whether they're verified or not, they can ask inappropriate questions. Um, I've only had that happen once. So I think it means like credit card. And so here's the thing, not everybody trusts or uses credit cards. Some people, really only pay for things in cash. I don't know if those same people then are buying online, but it kind of opened my eyes a little bit, because the other thing is, I saw this with tips. I switched my Whatnot buyers account to my PayPal account, because I take my Whatnot funds and I put them into PayPal, and I didn't want to be spending our other money, our household money, on Whatnot. I wanted to only spend what I make, or less. And so I didn't want it coming out of my debit card, and I switched it to PayPal, and that meant that I couldn't tip. And I love tipping streamers because it's so much easier to just toss $1 in the tip bucket, and cheaper than to buy a coffee or things like that. But I couldn't do it because I was attached to PayPal, and I thought, well, that really sucks, because all of my buyers that maybe would want to tip me, they're not able to. I figured out a workaround for me. I have a PayPal debit card. So I use the PayPal debit card by typing in that number, and I can tip out of my PayPal account. I hope that makes sense. But at the same time, it just has me thinking about this whole idea of verified buyers versus not. If you are attached to a PayPal card, excuse me, if you're just attached to your PayPal account, I assume you're a verified buyer if it's attached to PayPal or credit cards, but maybe not when it's attached to Apple Cash, or I don't know what else is there. Like, Can't pay with Bitcoin, I don't think. So it's just a question. I don't have an answer for it. That's why, I'm not I'm not really giving my opinion because I don't know whether it's to our advantage to did I is it locked, love? I guess the door was locked. Not purposefully. Sorry, he's bringing me some ice water. Just a second, guys. I think like the door is broken. Coming. I didn't lock it. I don't know what happened. Okay. Can you send one of the kids down with an ice water, please? Aren't you going to Yes. Sorry to leave you hanging, but he did make me a fresh espresso. So, unfortunately, our door got locked. Our bedroom door never is locked. Anyway, thanks for that. Sorry, a little pause there. So we were talking about verified buyers and whether or not it's worth it to toggle it on or toggle it off. I haven't really gotten a consensus from the chat. It looks like Izzy has it toggled on, Sweet Red Panda has it off. So, we'll bring it, I'll bring it back up again and see. And maybe I do need to ask in the Discord, and I have that open. So I'm going to ask about verified buyers and what it actually means, because there's so much on Whatnot that they don't actually explain to us. Like, there's no like I for get info button on some of the things that we see here and there. I see that I have a little bit of a poor connection. It looks like lagging just a bit. So anyway, if you have any other thoughts on that, please feel free to share. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next thing. And chat. So that's the next thing. Right now, the chat's a little quiet. So there's no easy answer as to how to engage the chat. I'm going to take a sip. And some of the things that I don't do as well as I could that I'm going to try and change. One is having moderators. So I'm just going to choose, hey, Thrifting Mama Goods, I'm going to allow you to moderate. Welcome in. I recognize you from some chats that we had, and I don't know if you've ever moderated before, but if you type now, yeah, now you have the power, you have the control. One of the things that it lets people do is they can remove people from your chat. So if you're live selling, I had somebody come in once and was like, anybody want to buy some tacos? Or it was something like that. And I was like, I actually engaged the chat and I said, oh, it depends. What kind of tacos are you selling? Thinking that, I don't know, like maybe he's selling taco seasoning. But he or she was just being a goofball, and the chat recognized it more than I did. And I hadn't made somebody a mod yet. And, two or three of my buyers quickly said, make me a mod, I'll take care of it. And so it does help to have a mod ahead of time. Many of the people that I've had mod for me are really busy moms. And so I don't have a set group of mods, and I often change my show times. So I feel bad. Like I don't, I don't ask people, hey, can you come mod my show? Because so many of them are more informal. There are very few that I have I've never fully loaded a show. I've never had a pre-programmed show where, I felt the need to have somebody with a request line. That's what they're really good at. But when we did the rate trains, I did encourage a couple people to be mods with me in those for people, so that we could pump up the volume, as I would call it, just drive the chat along a little bit. So the question that I posted there, is the idea of how do we engage the chat? How can we better use the chat? One of the things that I'm exploring, and I'm not as good at yet, I realized at the start of the show, I forgot to do it again, is putting something in the chat long before the show starts. So if you look at my profile, you'll see I have like 50 shows planned out. And that's only because I use the repeat function. Whenever I schedule a show, I try to do it on my phone and I choose repeat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm downstairs in the office and everything is out of reach. I need a tiny little fridge here for all of my stuff. Oh, Katie Cat, I don't know. I honestly have asked that exact same question of a couple other reseller friends of mine. Like, what is going on? Where? Because I don't have a secret source for it. Number one, I don't love bamboo as much as I love Pima cotton. And many of us that do have, I actually went into, so funny story. I went into a boutique in New York City and I was kind of scoping it out thinking I would do one of my shop small series. I've only done it a couple times. It's not a business model where you actually make money, but you do support small business and I like the idea of doing it when the kids go back to school, popping into boutiques and doing a live selling experience where I act as your personal shopper. So I went into this boutique in New York City because we were visiting there for spring break. And I walked in and I pretended to be a buyer. I was intending to buy, but I created a story and I said, "Oh, I'm looking for a baby shower gift and she wants bamboo." Thinking about my buyers or, the buyers I see on Whatnot. And the woman looked at me like I was crazy. And she's like, "Well, what size?" And I said, "Oh, well, probably 3 to 6 months." And so she showed me, but then she started showing me all of the other things she had in 3 to 6 months. And so I said, "No, there's something about it. She just really wants the bamboo." And she was, basically teaching me there's so many other fabrics that have the same hand feel. And I knew this, but I was trying to be the buyer that only wants bamboo. And she was a little bit aggressive with me, basically like, "Yes, we have it. This is what we have. If you want it, you can have it, but I have all of this as well." And she was right because there's so much more out there where the fabrics are actually better. And by better, I mean lots of things. One, organic cotton is better for the environment. Two, Pima cotton has so much better wash wear. And three, any of the viscose blends have the same hand feel. It doesn't have to be a bamboo pulp that is used. It can be the pulp of other woods as well. It doesn't just have to be bamboo. So she pretty much called me out on it. Like I couldn't pretend to be the bamboo buyer that I was trying to be because it doesn't always make sense. Now, I do understand if you love the prints, there are certain, like Little Sleepies, obviously, they've got some adorable prints, but would you buy those same prints if they were on Pima cotton? The bamboo movement is one that I'm still wrapping my head around because I've been in kids fashion for, oh goodness. So my daughter is turning 14 at the end of the year and I started researching and planning my store before that. So almost 15 years I've been in kids fashion and I've seen bamboo kind of come and go but not have the staying power that it has right now. I don't know if it'll last. As a mom, I can say that, that stuff you can't hand it down. Like and you can't resell it as easily because of all the pilling and I don't know. So, no, I have no idea where they're getting it so cheap. I know how to buy bamboo wholesale, and wholesale is basically half of retail price. So, I could right now, if I wanted to, probably buy bamboo for 18, 20, $22. That's the price that I've seen on most online marketplaces for boutique owners. Um, but then there's no profit. Like, once you take away 10% in fees, and you pay the shipping costs to get it to you, like, I don't understand where they're getting it. I don't know. Exactly. You have to have an actual business, and I did. So I don't still have, a bricks and mortar store. I do still have a corporation that I work under, but I don't have a retail sales license anymore, so it's a very gray area for me. There are a few brands that I can still buy from. But no, in order to purchase wholesale, which is tax free and usually half price, the idea is that you are purchasing it for an actual business, an actual boutique, which can be bricks and mortar or online, and that then you're marking it up to a standard retail price, which is at least times two. Mine was always times two plus $2. I don't think it's black market. I think some of them are very resourceful. So if I wanted to source bamboo right now for myself or for my shows, I would start with ThreadUp, Kidizen, um, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, shopgoodwill.com. There are there are a dozen, different Poshmark, Mercari. There are a dozen different online marketplaces where if you can set alerts and you can consignment stores, Once Upon a Child, um, where you can set alerts and get. So, for example, one of the brands that I really like that is super expensive is Aviator Nation. I don't own any Aviator Nation because it's outrageously expensive, and there's one right down the road from me here. When I was selling things on ThreadUp, I put an alert up so that every time a new piece of Aviator Nation was loaded onto the ThreadUp site, I would get an email. And there, it's very scarce, very, very scarce. So I only get like one email a week when Aviator Nation is posted to the huge online marketplace that is ThreadUp. So my guess is that, they have my guess. I have no idea. My guess is that they have alerts set up so that anytime Little Sleepies is made available on ThreadUp, on Poshmark, on eBay, that they're getting alerts and they're jumping in and grabbing it, and or they're shopping those sites with by stacking coupons, meaning that, there's a 30% off, but they have a Visa card that they've gotten on points. I don't know. There's no, and some of them just have been private collectors and are selling off their private collection. Oh, obviously the other big one that I didn't mention, I took a look at it and I jumped right out, is the online Facebook groups, the buy sell trade groups. So, but I wouldn't advise going after that stuff because there's already a few too many people trying to do it. It's a pretty crowded um, space in the kids division. And yes, to answer your other question, there is some, it's not black market stuff, but off brand or unbranded stuff that's being sold as boutiques. So if it doesn't have a brand name tag like Little Sleepies or Kiki Pants, those are two of the big ones that I know. If it just has numbers like 80, 90, 120, then it's just bamboo that's made in China and it's made in bulk, and then it's copied off of the trends that Chinese manufacturers see happening on Instagram and in other marketplaces, sometimes by the exact same. If you have if you don't have a good relationship with your manufacturer, then sometimes they'll just make blanks basically and make them available online. Oh, yay, the perfect price. I forgot about that. Yes. So I'm so glad that you said that because that is one of the things I wanted to talk about was the idea of gifting to the chat. Does anybody have any more? So yeah, this is, I guess it's under the same idea. I'm going to pin it real quick, guys. Look. Um, so there is a feature that many people don't realize where you can now gift the chat an item from the person who's selling, from their bin. It has to be in the buy it now section. And when you go to click on buy up at the top, there is, send it as a gift, and you can send it as an exact gift. So if somebody wanted to gift a hair claw to Atlanta Kids, who isn't in the chat right now, you could actually send it to them. You pay shipping and it goes to them. I get the label, I get the sale, and it goes to them. Like if you're just like if you see something that has a pug on it and you think of me and we're friends and you're like, oh my gosh, Tara would love that. You can send me an item from somebody's bin that has a pug on it. A lot of, not very many people are doing this because it can be expensive. Most of the things that are in bins are usually $5 or more. When you add $4 shipping, you're sending a $9 gift. Depends on how close a friend you are, right? With the other buyers and sellers. But we as sellers can gift to people. I haven't done it yet and I need to. I've done it for other resellers. So for example, Tamara, she has twins and she's bought so much from me, and I was trying to support another seller in their raid train. I didn't see anything that I wanted for myself or that I wanted to like buy to resell, but I saw two pairs of 18-month overalls, which I knew was their sizes, so I gifted them to her. It means that she gets an email that says Tara has gifted you, and then they just show up and it's fun. I can't afford to do it often. I just did it that one time. Um, but I often will also choose the gift to chat feature. And I specifically, as a seller, excuse me, have started to market my items as gifts for the chat. So I actually bought them from Aaliyah Rose, who Rosa. She in one of her raid trains. I was looking for them to see where I have them. I'm not as well organized as I should be. Anyway, they're hair claws, and I bought a pack of them from her for like $4, and I think there were 6 in there. So that means, the math more or less, I can sell each of them for $1 and it's a break even. But I supported her, she got a couple dollars, and I broke up the pack, and I've sold one or two. Now, the person, any of my buyers right now can buy it for themselves. You don't have to. So that's why I added or gift yourself. But it's something as sellers that you might want to consider doing, including items in your bin that are lower price that somebody might want to gift the chat. So it's super popular during Basil's fridge rates, because we're all just a bunch of goofballs, knuckleheads in there, hollering at people saying, "Show us your fridge, show us your fridge." And if they have little $1 or $2 items in their bin, then we grab them and, gift them to the chat. And like I said, my daughter started doing that in one of my shows because she thought it was fun. She was just like, gift to chat, gift to chat. And it makes this really fun noise. So, depending on the flow, if you have a real party atmosphere and people are laughing and joking around, you may or may not get a bunch of gifts to chat. You won't get any if you don't have them in the bin. So that's my advice. If you want advice, is like, I'm not expecting that to sell this morning, but if somebody wanted to, they could. And Perfect Price won it in the meh giveaways. I think Anna makes those. I don't know if she makes them or she sources them, but she had all these different earrings, and I chose the Reese's earrings, and I chose gift to chat, and it happened to go to my friend the Perfect Price, which is just good silly fun. So, if you can set aside a few funds for gifting to the chat, it is fun, it builds community, but it also gets your name out there. So Perfect Price already knew me and supports my shows. But it sometimes will introduce you to a new person that maybe didn't know about you. And if they get a gift from you, hopefully they, will then show up in your shows. So yeah, it was fun. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I forget about them because I'm not shipping it. So and I made sure to thank, I forget what I got. Oh gosh, see, now I feel bad. I forget what I got, or I maybe didn't even open it yet. I bet you I haven't opened it yet. I got an email that said I was receiving a gift from somebody, and so I sent them a message on Whatnot saying, "Hey, thank you. I see that I have a gift coming from you. I so appreciate you supporting." I think it was during one of the fridge rates. So that's another way to engage the chat, is to call it out and say, "Hey guys, if you're feeling, like gifting somebody, don't forget I've got gift to chat in my bin, and you can pin it like I did, or not." Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It is a feature that we need to be prepared for. And especially as we get close to the holidays, I'm sure you can think of a few things to put in your bin, from the target dollar. So I don't like to encourage buying junk. But things similar to what you would find in the dollar spot at Target. Don't necessarily go and buy things. Instead, maybe source them from the reseller, marketplaces, whether it is here on Whatnot or on eBay or something like that. Maybe some, antique, or not antique, but vintage Christmas ornaments or Santa hats. I don't know. Just think about it, and be ready. That reminds me, next week we'll talk about quarter four, and I haven't been through a fourth quarter on Whatnot to see what that's like. I got to write down all my ideas. Quarter four. All right, so let's see. The other thing that I thought we maybe could talk about this morning is, let's see. So that was chat. Oh, new features. Is it just me, or I swear every week Whatnot has something new. I just clicked on I have it as an open window. It is brand new. I'm on Whatnot every day. There is rarely a day where I'm not on Whatnot. Now, I take days off from selling. I don't have a show every day, but I'm actively working on adding items to my own shows or retweaking the titles or the photos, or I'm in other people's. And the only reason I say that is because I am surprised pretty much every other day with a new feature on Whatnot. And sometimes they're tiny, like the gift to chat. Other times they're really big, and it's like, whoa, why did they move that button there? And how do I do? So the new one, let me see if I can find it. You may or may not have seen. I got to find I've got like a dozen open windows. Are you guys like me? Do you have 20 open windows? So it's not that one. And it's not that one. Okay, I'm sorry when you have to look at the side of my head. Oh, goodness. Now I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, well, one of the things, does it say explicit at the top for mine? I noticed that I never turn explicit on. I do curse. So no, I didn't see new DM improvements, Sweet Panda, but thank you. No, it's seller tools at the bottom of your live. So let me open up another one. I'm going to open up another one. I lost track of it. So I'm going to open up tomorrow's live. That's where it is. It's under Tara Teaches. Okay, found it. So it's in beta, but basically, and this is on desktop. I like to do everything on desktop. I'm old school. I don't know how to two thumb text. Like, I really hate doing things on my phone when it comes to typing and editing and such. I really prefer desktop. So now at the bottom, seller tools, you can add poll and start a raid from on the desktop, different from when it was up at the top. I don't know. That's just a silly thing. I haven't explored it yet, but I guess, is there a DMs improvement too? Let me see that one. On the desktop, messages looks the same to me. Does have suggested, so let me type sweet red panda. It does show that we're friends, and see, messages keeps blanking out on the desktop for me. I'm not able to send messages. I have to do it from my devices. What did we see there? Let's see. Let me see what some of the other features are that I noticed too. Um, if you guys didn't see in the little post-it note up on the left, I'm on YouTube now. So one of the changes is that you can stream live to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I started live streaming direct. Every live stream that I do now goes directly to YouTube. It's set up and it just does it. As soon as I hit start stream, it goes to my YouTube channel, which it was a non-existent channel. The only thing on it is these lives. Let's see. Yeah, it just came out today. Okay, it's on Discord. All right. You know me, I have a love-hate relationship with Discord. I guess I guess the idea now that it's got the suggestions, I do see that it's got the suggestions now. So it tells you if you're friends. So I see that Sweet Red Panda is on Whatnot with a green dot, and that we're friends. And so, but otherwise, I mean, I guess that improves it. The one thing that everybody wanted though was the ability to delete old chats. Like you have to scroll way back to find them. So, oh wait, so here's an I for, oh no, that's for friends. And yeah, beat. So I did one of the other things that I noticed like 2 weeks ago, they added to the thumbnails where at the bottom it says how many friends are watching that live. So right now, any of Sweet Red Panda's friends would see, if they clicked on, like the baby and kids, would see that she is watching this live. It's on the thumbnails. Just kind of little random tweaks here and there, and it's somewhat like a scavenger hunt. You only kind of know that it's happening if you're using the platform and notice the difference from one day to the next. Oh, Family 215, it's okay. Tomorrow is when I'm going to teach things. Today is just talking a little bit. We're just kind of having good morning. It's good to it's still morning for me. It's 10:35. I'm still drinking coffee. This on Monday mornings, I do like to just check in and chat. It forces me to get up and get going and, put a little bit of makeup on, slick my hair back. Nothing fancy or fabulous, but I do get out of my jammies at least. And then on Tuesdays, I've started a new series called Tara Teaches Whatnot. And for those, because I used to be a teacher long before um, I was a boutique owner, I like teaching. I do. And so I come up with these like little lessons. And I also really like the idea of supporting new sellers. And I was doing the raid parades, but that was exhausting. That consumed way too much of my time, and now that the kids are home, I just can't do full day raid parades on Fridays and all the organizing that goes into it, but I can do a lesson or two every Tuesday. So yeah, there's a person selling coffee. I mean, snacks is a big category right now. I jumped into it before there was too much competition. I don't know how much more. The snacks take up a lot of space in the tubs, like even though they're small snacks, because you don't want your crackers and crisps to smash. You got to space them out, and I'm feeling like they're taking up a little too much square footage in my bedroom right now, which is where my office is. So I'm going to do a few more snack shows this week, and then I might put the brakes on it for a while. I don't know. I really like the Mexican candy shows. Envy, you seem to really. Are you going to have a snack show? You should. You know all of us, and you love snacks. So, Chanel, there are quite a few people not quite, I take that back. There are a couple people doing Hawaiian snacks. So this morning, Locally Loved did Trinidad and Tobago, or maybe just Trinidadian snacks. Sweet Red Panda does Asian snacks. There's a couple. I don't know if they're in Atlanta. I think they do homemade chocolates. Devin does cooking shows, and Weaver Style does cooking shows. Um, I've seen lots of Mexican candy scoops, and then lots of Asian snacks. Um, Not as much like traditional American candies. That's still more of a TikTok trend. Oh, a hot sauce one. And I don't know. I feel the Space City, they keep putting their show off. I think, are they the ones there's one that does like cupcakes in a jar, like they layer it. It looks to be super. I've never managed to catch their show though. Yeah, Space City, they keep putting their show off. I keep missing it, or they keep waiting. So there's a little bit of opportunity right now because it's not a super crowded space. I don't know how much. There's not a lot of profit in snacks. You have to love it and enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it because I'm here in Los Angeles and I've thrifted so much that I needed to kind of put a break on thrifting, and instead I shifted to buying snacks just randomly. Oh, absolutely. So, Chanel, let me see if I can give you some tips. Okay, so I'll click on your name. Uh, Consistency is a huge key. So I will say, from my experience, um, that I really built up a following by doing two shows a day for almost 30 days. I mean, it was crazy, but because they were doing a reduced fee special for the first 30 days in Baby and Kids, this was back in January at the start of the year. I don't know that they're still doing that. I was like, well, I'm going to do as many shows as I can before the fees start to kick in. And I was used to selling all day, every day. So the shipping part is what really got to me. But otherwise, I had the inventory and the stamina to do it. And so doing two shows a day, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Obviously, I didn't do it for the exact 30 days, but I made a commitment to that, to the point that I had people checking on me when I didn't show up for one show, because some family drama. They Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So if you can really hit the ground running and do 2 weeks straight, like I sat my family down and I said to them, I said, Mama will not be available as much over the next 30 days. You've got to ask Papa. Like, the default is Mama. They always ask Mama for this, that, and the other. And, a couple of my kids were in tears. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm not going anywhere. I'm just letting you know that I'm going to be live. I'm going to be at storage. I'm going to be shipping. I need you to be supportive of mama and, know that this is going to take more of my time and I might not be able to hear about your day today. I can hear about it tomorrow or in 2 weeks. But consistency is key to building a customer base. Now, now that it's summer, I've kind of lost some of that. Well, and a lot of my buyers became sellers. So, um, we need a good influx of buyers. I feel like we haven't had a good influx of buyers in the last few months, and many of our buyers have become sellers. So I feel like I'm driving stick shift now when I do a show. I always have a couple good sales, but I don't have the back and forth in the comments. I don't have the back and forth with the bids that I did in the beginning. So I don't have an easy answer for that other than to say yes, consistency. All right, I was going to go to your page. I just need to pull, I've lost track. I closed too many windows. I had myself open and I guess I closed myself. So let me open it back up. And if anybody else wants me to look at their page and give suggestions, I'm happy to. So Chanel, I'm going to click follow. Sorry, I wasn't following you sooner. And then I click view profile. And you don't have any shows scheduled. Right now, I would bookmark your shows. You've got to have at least two. Always, always, always have at least two shows scheduled. And yes, make a bio. Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be much. Doesn't have to be much. You do have your past shows there, and I think past shows is good because it does let people, like, if they're interested, take a little preview and see what you've sold before. But you're missing out on bookmarks when you don't have shows, and you can always change them. My suggestion is to choose a time and date that you can repeat, whether it's Tuesdays at 2, Fridays at 5, every Wednesday night at 7. If you can choose a time or two to commit to for at least a couple weeks and see how that feels, then in your show you can get people to bookmark it, but you have to create that show. So right now, after the show, or right now while the show's going, create a show. You can title it TBD, to be determined, in this minute. Or if you feel like you've got more kids inventory or you've got more women's inventory, then just title it women's mix or women's show for now. Choose a time and date, to a time and day of the week. Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, Wednesdays at 1, Fridays at 5, Saturdays at 6. I like that alliteration. I really do. Mostly because then it reminds you, oh, I've got to get ready for my Saturday show. And then it reminds your buyers, once you've got them, like, oh, that's right. Chanel goes on every Saturday at 6. I don't want to miss her show. And then commit to it and commit to it, and people will start to come. Um, and as far as the title, you can change the title all the way up until the moment you go live. Like, you can always go back and fine tune. You can change the picture, you can change the title, you can change the tags, you can even change the division that it's in. If you decide, you know what, I really don't have as many kids clothes. I'd rather this be a women's show. People that have bookmarked a kids show, most of them are going to be women. And so you can say, hey guys, I know I said this was going to be kids. Thank you for coming, but I'm actually shifting and we're going to do mostly women's tonight. I do have a few kids items in the bin. One other tip is to never cancel your shows. Instead, move them forward. So let's say you committed to Saturdays at 6 and you scheduled it out, and you just can't do it. And you've got 36 bookmarks on this show that's coming up this Saturday. You only have 2 bookmarks on next Saturday's show. You can move the one that you forgot about a bat mitzvah that you've got to go to on Saturday. So you take it and you move it to next Saturday, and then you can cancel the other one or change that one to a pop up on a Monday. I move my shows around quite a bit. And that's why you'll see some of mine have 100 bookmarks, not because I have 100 people that are interested in coming to that show. It's just that I've gotten 10 a week for the last 10 weeks as I try and figure out the exact time and place for that. You can't move your shows around all the time and never show up. Whatnot will contact you likely if you just keep doing that, but it's okay to move a few. Of course, I mean, yeah, I assume so. But it's not as if there's an easy answer to figure out the algorithm on Whatnot. Um, if you are trying to take advantage of the algorithm on Whatnot to get more buyers in the room, you need to take advantage of all of the features that Whatnot offers. So, like with Chanel, I just told her, like, you got to schedule shows. When you schedule those shows, you need a longer title, you need a engaging thumbnail, you need to use the tags. All of those things I explained in my Tara Teaches How to Whatnot, and it may or may not be on my YouTube channel still, if you want to rewatch that. So this one is more of a like a chat, ask questions, and I'll answer them. If you want to be taught how to do that, come to a Tuesday show, and I can actually split the screen and show you how to do it too. Okay. Is there? Let me go back and see. Is there anybody else that wants like a little profile evaluation? I missed a lot of the chat. So Hawaii snacks, we talked about that. Jenny, don't be nervous. And, we don't mind kids in the background sometimes. Like, if you can come up with something creative for them to do in the background, and just try to do a slow and steady show, it's hard. It's hard. Nap time, if one of them has a consistent nap time and the bigger two, you can give them their lunch. Some people give their kids their lunch, and that gives them a half hour, and you tell them, I need you to have library voices or whatever. Like, you just got to try it sometimes, and that doesn't mean it will work. It means that you won't know until you've tried. Mm, uh, oh, you're welcome, Chanel. Yeah, exactly. Some daughters love to help, and one of my favorites. Are you sneaking in here? Speaking of kids, I've got one. I've got one knucklehead home. Here, wait, careful. Here, you want to come say hi?
No, not one knucklehead. There's about.
You're the only knucklehead that's home. Are your sisters
Oh,
knuckleheads
because
too?
I'm the only knucklehead.
Exactly. You want to say hi to my studio audience? If you look over there, you see yourself. If you look here, you can see yourself, and they can see. Show them your missing tooth. He lost one tooth the last day of kindergarten, basically, or the day before the last day. And then sisters put some glitter threads in the hair so that we're rocking summer hairdos. We've got a summer tan, summer bug bites. We're enjoying summer, aren't
One
we?
right here and one over.
Yeah, ouch. The mosquitoes have gotten bad, huh? We need to, today I was
It
thinking,
wasn't mosquitoes.
I think it was. We need to buy citronella plants. Will you help me remember to do that?
It wasn't mosquitoes. I told you.
Okay. All right. Can you head back upstairs? Look, there's Papa.
Come on, Lucas.
Let me finish up my show, and then we're going to go on an adventure. Yes, you can have a Mento. Stand up.
Yay!
I knew that's what he really came for. It wasn't the snuggles. It was the Mentos. See?
And the snuggles.
And the snuggles. Okay, there you go. One for now, one for later. Take them upstairs carefully. Love you. So let me look at the questions, and more than anything, I wanted you to see that it's okay for kids to interrupt a show in the kids division. Like, it's okay for kids to interrupt any show. It's your show. And the more comfortable you are being yourself in front of your audience, most people are not going to click away just because your kid comes to get a Mento or comes to snuggle. Now, crying kids, we moms have a certain patience for it, depending on how good your inventory is. But for the most part, people don't want to see crying kids or upset kids. But if they're helpful, and I was going to say, my friend, a Quiverful, she and her daughter Charity do late night shows. Charity stays up late with her, like they're up at midnight, and that's their thing. They do the shows together. It's a mom and daughter duo, and mamas and minis. She's got all three of her kids. They're older, but she's got all three of her kids helping with her shows. So figure out what works for you. And then TM Griffey, I see, is that enough to be a seller? So no, just having in general, just having your own clothes is not enough to become a seller. You have to have a plan and a source for acquiring more. So they want to see that you have inventory. There are some people that have been approved just for like the clothes that they have in their kids' closets when they have, lots of kids or they've been thrifting for a long time. I'm not saying definitively yes or no. I'm just giving my advice. I would say I don't think so, but you certainly can try and then maybe they'll give you some feedback. I'm not quite sure what the approval process is like these days. Um, I actually, the next time I sometimes I did have like a once a month talk scheduled with whatnot, but it hasn't happened in a little while. It didn't happen this past month. If I get to do that again, I want to ask them how many new sellers are coming to the platform each month. More so out of curiosity or what they're currently looking for. So I can answer that question. I mean, I don't work for Whatnot. So, hey, buddy,
I just love you.
I love you too, sweetie, but I don't love when you knock over the camera. So you can sit here as long as you sit here quiet. How do the people who sell live from Disney or the bins? Um, so it depends on which category that you apply in.
Why can't you say something? Well, you can, but why
Yeah, I can.
do they let you?
I can say something if I want to, but mostly I'm just answering the questions.
Oh,
So let me answer the questions. You
I'm
can sit here.
facing you.
Yes, you can sit here, but only if you sit here quietly, okay?
Okay.
Um, so here's the thing with getting approval. If you really want to get approved to sell on Whatnot, you might try applying in one of the not so busy categories. So don't try Funko or coins or estate sales. Try something, like garage sales
Mama, when
or
you're looking at that, you're looking at me.
yes. Or try something. There's other categories. So look on the left and look for a category that doesn't have very many live streams. If they've got less than 100 live streams, then that means they're looking for sellers. Um, I got one from electronics. I got an email from electronics asking me to start selling electronics. I have zero interest in selling electronics, but they're looking for sellers. Thank you, love, for
I
all the
love
kisses,
you.
but you're distracting me a little bit. Okay?
We get to sell electronics.
We're not going to sell electronics. We're not.
We are, but some people.
Some people are. Exactly. Other people. So choose a category that maybe isn't baby and kids, isn't women's clothing, isn't coins, isn't comics, and apply that way. If I had to give advice, that's what I would give advice to somebody that doesn't have a source of inventory for getting, if you live close to the Goodwill bins and that's something you look forward to doing, but really they want to see that you're going to bring buyers, that you have a social media history, that you already have 3 dozen videos on YouTube that have 25,000 likes of you shopping at the bins. They don't, they meaning Whatnot, I don't think just wants people that will, source at the bins or source at the Disney store. That's not really what the platform is for.
Mama.
Yeah, I mean, you can try the food section, but again, you have to have a plan. You have to have a business plan. The idea of selling on Whatnot is that you have a plan for how to grow your business and how the platform can help you grow your business. Okay? You can feel free to send me a private message too, and I can maybe help you with your application. I'm always help. I haven't applied in a while. I honestly was denied the first time I applied, because they didn't have a baby and kids division, and I think I was applying just in fashion in general, mostly women's. Yeah, you can say something. Okay, and then I got to look at the questions. We're winding things down here, guys. So if you have any more
Thank
questions,
you for supporting her.
oh, that's very sweet of you. I need you to help me write some thank you notes. Oh, Jess, yeah, absolutely. So, Jess, I'm going to go ahead and follow you, and then I'm going to click on your profile. Anybody else want to shout out their shows? Obviously, I'm super reseller friendly. Nice. You've got 4 shows coming up. I've bookmarked all 4. My one suggestion to you might be to include a little bit more specificity in your title. So it says variety of women's, which is good. But is it a variety of women's that's more heavy on smaller sizes or plus size or mall brands or thrifted items? What would make a buyer want to come to your women's show over the other dozen women's shows that are going to be happening at the same time. So maybe rethink your title just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. There's nothing wrong with variety of women's and clothes and shoes, but I would maybe just include one little teaser, or you know, um, something along the lines of get beach ready, or the athleisure edit and the boho edit. Those were really popular. Just, it doesn't have to be any of those things. I'm just saying add a little something that maybe makes it stand out for you. Okay. Obviously, I have a little monkey that needs a little bit more attention, so we're going to wind this show down. But tomorrow, I will be teaching, and I'll have a specific lesson plan, and I'll be able to do that on that day. Okay, tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you being here so much, and we're going to go ahead and end this show and hope that you bookmark my next one. Take care, everybody.